guys, it's Nenna and welcome back to another video. I didn't plan on making it a habit to upload a speed build before I actually upload the Let's Play. However, since there's a lot that needs to be done in order to get the Not So Berry Challenge running for the second season, I decided that just to get into the swing of things, to introduce you to the thought of the Not So Berry continuing, I would do another speed build. Now, there is a reason for Pepper to be living in a new house and for me to having to set up the new house. Originally, there's two versions. There's the real version and the game version, or the story version. I did a few things, cleaning, backing up things. I forgot to back up the part that makes your game recognize what version it is and the things you've done. So when I plopped the backup into, the reinstallation of The Sims 2, put everything back and didn't put in that file, it did recognize what I've done, only it's like an earlier version, which means that some of the things that I've done with Pepper are not saved. Rosie, I forgot her name. Rosie was still a kid, and as you can imagine, there's a few things that have to be done, as you can also see through, thanks to this video, the wonderful video. We also missing a robot and some cats, and so we're having to either redecorate the house that we had or come up with a new house. And I started thinking the other house was pretty big, but I never really fully, at the end I did grow into the house, but I was happy with it, but I never felt like it was complete. There was always, I don't know, there was something about the outside I just could not get my head around. And for this house, I thought, why don't I just get one floor, just make it really expensive. We're gonna add a pool later on, we're gonna make it different. I'm actually halfway through the house as I'm recording this because I'm running out of space on my hard drive, so doing a voiceover is a little easier while I am putting away these ginormous files to my secondary drive. Good thing I got it because it's needed. It's really needed. Get yourself a second hard drive. It's wonderful. You just gotta remember to record and then transfer it to another hard drive immediately, unless you plan on recording. But yeah, it's probably best if you shoot that thing into another another drive as fast as you can. So the version or the story that we're running is that something has happened to the other house. So Pepper was finally done with her mansion. Should I talk about should I do a little backstory? Alright, I'm gonna do a little backstory and then I'm gonna add, should I just, okay, wait a minute, do I wanna, okay, you know what, I'll just do, okay, let me just get this out and then I'll do the backstory. Okay, for those who are new, wait 5 seconds for me to explain the reason why she's living here and then I'll help you out. So Pepper was happily living in her 2-story modern mansion together with Rosie and her 3 cats. We had Rocco, who unfortunately died, and then we had, oh my gosh, I don't remember, Mrs. Smittens, I think. Was it Mrs. Smittens? And then we had Cherry and Pomegranate, who were supposed to be the next gen cats, or Rosie's cats. And then we had Pleb and Bleb, one with a B, one with a P. And Pepper is married to Bleb, I think, and we got Pleb, and I think Bleb was a girl and Pleb was a man. I don't exactly remember, so don't quote me on this. However, she was living together in that big old mansion, just living her life, just being a business lady. We had a few businesses going as well, and Rosie was just starting high school, like a lot of things were happening. And one night, Pepper awoke to a really weird smell, and before she knew it, the half of the house was on fire. For some reason, her smoke alarm or smoke detectors were malfunctioning and half of the house was on fire. And the first thing that Pepper thought was, oh no, my belongings. I worked so hard for this. So Pepper put some of those important belongings in her pocket. She ran to her bike, but no. She needed that one picture that was downstairs, the one of that really nice sky. So she ran downstairs and put that in her pocket, and some of the pictures of her pets and her daughter, she had to put that in her pocket, and her life elixir, and the robot station, and all of those things. Every piece of furniture that she loved, she had to bring it with her. And when she was done with that, oh no, I'm forgetting something. She had to go and get Rosie. Pepper is not the best mother of the year, but she tries her best, okay? She just really values things that she worked hard for. So she went and got those, and then she went and got her daughter. And then the robots made themselves, well, they were, I don't know where they were. Where were they? Downstairs? Upstairs? I'm not exactly sure. But eventually they all found each other, and they were standing on the balcony, and Pepper was quickly just putting some of those money tree, simoleons in her pocket. And as she was sighing, looking at her poker table and thinking, oh no, I could have just done so much more, she was suddenly faced with the realization that she had to get out of there, or there would be no more of anything. So they all kind of took a leap of faith and took a 4-meter jump from the balcony to the pool, because that's totally realistic, and they saved themselves miraculously, right? And nobody got hurt. Oh, and the poor cats, I mean, whoever did it broke in and lit the fire, but before they did, they grabbed the pets and put them outside, because they're a good person, and they felt like the pets didn't deserve this. Pepper did, but the pets, no, they definitely didn't deserve this. The pets didn't deserve this. So there was Pepper and her belongings and her daughter and robots, and she had to come up with a new plan. She managed to get herself a new place. She paid in cash, the cash that she put in her pocket right before, the house burned down, and with the car that she also put in her pocket. It's not exactly super modern, but at the same time, I didn't want to put too much attention or too much effort into the house. I couldn't help myself with the inside, because we're still playing with Pepper's house until I'm done telling the story in Pepper's house. But the outside, I was like, I'm just gonna make it whatever, I feel like making it. And then eventually, like I said, we're gonna, it feels kind of productive, because we're supposed to start the second gen, and gen is red, it's not mint anymore. But since this is, still Pepper's house, and we're still gonna play with her, I feel like the inside counts, the outside a little less. I still want to put effort. And once Rosie moves out, of course we're gonna have our red house. But for now, this is what it is. And yeah, that's kind of the story behind it. And I really like brown and mint together. I also really like white and mint, but I felt like I didn't have any mint or white stones for the outside, and I figured since the inside is already pretty white, it's probably better if I incorporate some brown for the outside, just so my eyes have a little bit of variety. And you guys know that I decorate my houses with a base color and then add the color of the gen, because I go absolutely insane. I really like it when things have the same color, and they just don't, okay? They don't have the same color. There's like 20 shades of mint, and usually like whites and reds and blacks and even greens, sometimes pinks. Those colors are kind of in the same spectrum. It might slightly vary, but there's a lot of choice. Mint is not a color that there's a lot of things, not a lot of different. There's not a lot of different minty things, and I feel like because it's probably a bit of a personal preference. See, I look at mint and I feel like it's a bit of a green, blue in between, and for me, minty hints more towards the blue side than the green, but for some people, maybe it's more green than blue. So you're always going to have that in-between shade that's just very personal. And for red, it's usually just like a dark red, a red. It doesn't vary very much. It's red. It's not a blue red. It's not a purple red. Red is usually just a dark red or deep red. It's just, oh my god, there was this hair color that was so nice, but it's so blue mint that it's more blue than mint, even though you can clearly tell that it's mint. but it's just so blue that it looks more blue than mint. And I was just so disappointed. It looked so good. Very unfortunate. But yeah, this is Pepper's new house, you guys. I personally really like it. I'm being attacked by a fly. Okay, girl or boy. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how to gender identify a fly. It's, can you? We're on the deepest side of YouTube, right? We're like on the deep side of my thoughts. Don't know if we wanna, All right, let me move on. So if you're unfamiliar with the Not So Berry challenge, for those who are new, there might be some new people who haven't seen the first season or they just want to watch the second one. I'll just do a quick recap. So Pepper is a hardworking girl who has a mean streak. She's very grumpy, very serious. She works super hard. She loves to throw parties and have fun. And she loves money, and she makes a lot of money doing her businesses. She had a drugstore, and then she also had a pharmacy where she sold her own medicine that she made. And then she met Danielle, and Danielle was kind of like her first love. However, Danielle, being a romance sim, ended up smooching a little too much and cheated on Pepper a few too many times. It turned out that I should remember. Sorry, so much has happened that my brain is still, recovering. But Pepper or Danielle got pregnant, and I like to say that it was because Pepper has both male and female parts. That's the word I was looking for. So she has peen, and she used her big old peen on Danielle, as they're two ladies, and she got pregnant. And Pepper wasn't really sure about being a mother, and she kind of was like, I don't really want it. But Danielle was like, well, I do want it. I'm gonna keep the kid. And it turned out, to be a girl, and her name was Rosie. She moved out, and I think Danielle was pregnant. It's all coming back to me. And Pepper didn't really want to have to do anything with his child. And Danielle said, I'll take care of it. I want it. I'll take care of it. You can just fill in how much you want. Then as soon as the child was born, it's like Danielle just switched 900 degrees. there's a correct degree for this. She did a whole 360, that's it. And she dropped baby Rosie on Pepper's doorstep and kind of forced her to put aside her career and her dreams to take care of Rosie, which didn't sit well with Pepper at all. From then on, Pepper ended up taking care of Rosie, and struggling as it is, she was struggling because Pepper has nothing maternal inside of her. She never wanted children, and she's been a great parent. She's tried her hardest. She gave Rosie everything and anything she could have possibly needed and wanted, but she wasn't an affectionate sim. She wasn't a nice sim. She didn't give her motherly advice. She didn't give her the motherly attention that she needed and wanted. So Rosie ended up growing up with the idea that Pepper wasn't really a sim to talk to, so she was kind of left to fend for herself, and knowing that she had one parent and the other one didn't want anything to do with her, it kind of messed her up, as well as being bullied at school. So she grew up with a bit of a strange view on maybe relationships and herself, and just generally just life. And Pepper ended up creating robots, and she went on a few dates with people. She has her two best friends who used to be witches, and she has another friend that one of you guys actually made. Her name is May Smith, I believe. And there's another few sims that kind of grew up in this world, and they're now friends, or their kids are now friends with Rosie, or they know each other. And we set up some pretty deep connections, and Pepper just didn't vibe with anyone, and the only one that could kind of stand her was one of the robots. I mean, she basically made them, so she could have just easily taken out a chip or two and been like, he doesn't give me much resistance. Resistance is futile. So she ended up marrying Pleb, and that had a bit of an impact on Rosie as well, because she's like, I think I love my mom. She's cool, but she's kind of weird. She married her robot. And everyone in this town knew that, so they kind of called her mama wacko. It didn't really make her any more popular. And then came the point where Pepper got married, and she married a robot, and Rosie kind of had a first kiss that wasn't a good kiss because she got tricked into coming somewhere, and they said to her that a boy wants to meet her and confess his love, and then she came there and the boy was just mad, asking her why he had to come here, saying that she invited him, and she didn't know anything. And then she just thought, okay, well, I kind of like this boy, I'll just kiss him, see what happens. And she ended up failing and being embarrassed and being rejected in front of a lot of people, of the school bullies, and it was just a very traumatic time for her. And there was something else I wanted to say. Oh yeah, and at one point she grew into a teenager, and there was a letter from her mother in the mail, her real mother, Danielle, and Danielle suddenly wanted to be a part of her life. And it wasn't until Danielle met this other girl that kind of influenced her to be more involved in her daughter's life. She basically never looked over her shoulder. She never cared about Rosie. She never cared about anything until she marries this other woman, and I think I don't know, she's still cheating, but she's making more of a name for herself out in the world. She's like selling some CDs and albums, and just generally she's just doing a great job at making her dream come true. And like I said, all of a sudden she wants Rosie in her life, and this woman has been pushing Danielle to be more involved. And around this time, Rosie had a bit of a situation with her mother because she wanted someone to confide in and to comfort her, and Pepper was not really doing that. Pepper was more like, oh, we can do this to fix it, not really giving her comfort, more like solutions. And like I said, she can be cold and grumpy and serious, and I feel like Rosie is just very warm and needing of love and affection, especially as a teenager. She's very helpful when you have understanding and love and compassion, and not just do this, you don't do this right, that's not good enough. You don't want that. You want someone to be like, I acknowledge that growing up is hard and you're going through so much right now, and if you need me, I'll be here. I'm not gonna force myself, like that kind of behavior. But yeah, Pepper didn't give her. So when this letter came in, Pepper was like, I'm not gonna give it. Girl, it's better to stay away from Danielle. And Rosie found the letter, and mad as she was, she kind of like went behind her back and sought out contact with Danielle. And yeah, that wasn't pretty. And that's kind of where we left off for the next season. And I could give you some hints if I wanted to. Maybe I'll do that. I think in the next season we're gonna see more about the relationship between Danielle and Rosie, and maybe we'll do a few episodes when Rosie maybe moves in with Danielle. I think it'll be fun to play a few parts, but then from a different perspective, and kind of like go back to the start and play with Danielle and see how Danielle really is, and then maybe it can add some more depth to the whole Rosie character, and Rosie can maybe do something like, imagine you find out you have a mom, a second mom, and your real mom is the way that she is, the way I just described, and then you move in out of spite and bitterness with your other mom, thinking, well, she hid this from me, she's not that bad, rebelling, teenage emotions. So she goes over to Danielle and stays with her, and Danielle's easy. Oh, you want this, girl? Go get it. You want to go out, girl? Go do it. Because Danielle never raised this child. However, she is her kid. She never raised her. So she doesn't know what it takes to raise a kid. She just treats her like another adult or another teenager, another person. And she just says, you want to go drink? Do it. You want to go do this? Do it. There's no curfews. There's no rules. There's nobody looking out for her. Because Danielle is not that person. She doesn't know what it takes. She doesn't have those responsibility, maternal feelings. And Pepper forced herself to learn how to deal with that. She kept educating herself despite not having these maternal thoughts. So that's the difference between the two. Pepper never wanted Rosie, but when the opportunity was there and the need for her to take care of this helpless being, because Danielle was selfish enough to bring this life into the world and then abandon it, She took this upon herself. She decided that she would take care of it, and she did. And she loves Rosie. She loves her so much, but she also hates the fact that she had to raise her. Deep down inside, she has a grudge against Danielle. She hates that she had to raise this child that she never wanted, and it wasn't wanted. And this is something she's always carrying in herself. Every time she looks at Rosie, it's this feeling of, I never asked for you to be here, you weren't wanted. It's not something that she ever expressed to Rosie, because she would never do that. She's not that heartless, you guys. But she cannot help herself feeling this way. She isn't maternal. She doesn't know how to be loving and warm. She's just not like that. But despite all of that, she never treats her bad. She gives her everything she wants, and she teaches her values. And yeah, they butt heads, but they also have this beautiful relationship, because no matter what, Pepper is there for her. Despite everything, despite that she still would rather not have Rosie be around, she still takes care of her like she does. And I know it sounds bad when you say it like this, but just imagine this. You don't want to have kids, your partner says we're going to have a baby, and you don't have a saying in it. And then this person, as soon as they have the child, then puts the responsibility of you, and you're suddenly faced with this burden. You know you don't want it, but you have no other choice than to take care of it. And having a kid is like a 24/7 job for the next 20 years at least, because until they're an adult, moving out on their own, you're responsible for them. You need to do the things that your parents did for you. You got to make sure they're safe, they're warm, they're fed, they're educated. You have to prepare them for the real world. And imagine being forced to give up maybe your dream to travel all the time, or work really hard, or have like 6 businesses, because you have to take care of this being for 20 years. Sure, you can end up loving something, but it doesn't mean that you don't regret it, or that you wish it was different. And it doesn't make you a bad person. It really doesn't make you a bad person. People do the things that they love, and then in 10 years, 10 years time, they'll look back at it and say, boy, I wish I didn't do this. They regret it as much as they probably loved it, or good things happened. They still regret it and wish they'd never done it. And I think it's totally okay to feel it. I'm trying to justify Pepper. Poor Pepper. She's not even real. I'm trying to justify her feelings. But just imagine someone put this on you. You wouldn't like it either. So Pepper is struggling with those emotions every day, but she loves her daughter regardless. And it takes a strong kind of person to be this selfless. She still ends up working a lot, and she still ends up having a lot of businesses. So in a way, she managed to make things work, and also thanks to the robots being there. But the first years were rough because she had to give up working, and it was hell for her. She loves working. She loves being, she's business driven. She's work driven. She doesn't want to sit around and do nothing. And, she doesn't want a family. She wants hard work, money, relaxing, games, fun. That's it. Danielle wants to have fun. Danielle wants to get her way. And Danielle's a bitter person. So as soon as things are easy for her and someone else is forcing her to interact with her child, then suddenly it's possible to be there. And the thing is, Danielle has the ability to love and to be compassionate, because she's just that way. She is a compassionate sim. She's a loving sim. But that's not enough to raise a kid. And I think Danielle's going to find out that what Rosie needs is responsible people around her. And it's going to be tough for Rosie once she realizes she wasn't wanted. I think there's going to have to be a point where Pepper either says to her, I never asked for you, or Danielle might say that, her mother never wanted her. Maybe Danielle hints, to Rosie that her mother never wanted her, but that she had no other choice but to leave her with Pepper. You never know. And then she would go to Pepper and ask for confirmation, and Pepper, being Pepper, she doesn't lie. She'll be like, yeah, I never asked for you, I never wanted you, but here you are, which comes out really wrong and hurtful. I can imagine she being extremely hurt by those words, but I can also imagine that after a while, Rosie kind of calms down and thinks about all the things Pepper has done for her. and how she still cares for her, and then maybe things will come around. But I think it's fun to talk about these things, and okay to talk about these things, because we're not actually technically really started on her gen. We are, but we're still like in Pepper's house. But obviously I'm not gonna spoil what's gonna happen after we leave on her own. All the little things that I want to do for her, do with her. But I really wanted to share that a little bit. I know this is a long video and I talk a lot, but I like it, so why not? And maybe I won't edit this one either. I might do it, I think, because I rambled a little too much. But yeah, I just want to say thank you all so much for the subscribers, for 5,700 subscribers. We're almost close to 6,000. Insane. Thank you guys so much. I hope you guys enjoy the new season of Not So Berry. Please let me know any more ideas for the next season, or what you think about the relationship between the three, the dynamics, anything. And I'll see you guys. Oh, sorry, I just slapped my microphone. I'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye, guys.